Alright, ladies and gentlemen, the books is in. The books are in. Yep. They in. They're here.
Log in to KofiPaisaTV.com and get Spears of the Mossy Volume 1 by Kofi Paisa Research Team, from Spears the Pen Volume 2 by Kofi Paisa Research Team, Spiritual Combat Volume 3 by Kofi Paisa Research Team, One Night Before Bed by Any Harek Shun Calfunny, Kalawa's Trip to the Motherland by Kofi Paisa, From Cocaine to Consciousness by Any Harek Shun Calfunny, As I Learn, We All Learn by Kofi Paisa. Also, if you want fresh merch, go to our online store, Family Connect Apparel, and get all the brands. Also, get our 54 deck of quiz and educational cards available now on KofiPaisaTV.com.
All right. First, I want to say peace and Black African power. ETM Hotep, Dua Duau, Dua Aku, Dua Netcher, Fatmu Alafie, Fatmu Riri, Fatmu Iwa Pele, Majuba Iba Ie Gungun, Majuba Iba Ie Gungun, Majuba Iba Ie Lakba, Majuba Iba Ie Lakba, Igungun Kiki Igungun. We always want to give honor and praises to the ancestors, because without the ancestors, we wouldn't be here. We are our ancestors. I also want to stand honor and praises to the true and living elders out there according to African traditions and from an African worldview and from an African perspective. Welcome back to Kofi Paisa TV with Kofi Paisa Research Team. We have a special guest today. And before we get to who the special guest is and what he will be doing today, we got Brother Satepenra, Sutek, T'Challa, and Brother Peanut Head Fokker on the panel. Sean, we got Brother Sean on the panel, man. So y'all could introduce yourselves.
Kofi, you crazy, man. Peace. It's your brother Satepenra on the panel today. To my brothers, peace to everybody in the chat. Just waiting to see what our special guest has to offer us today.
Peace. Share Lafayette Nee, it's your brother Sutek. We black at you again on Kofi Paisa TV. Make sure you please like and share the show. Waiting to see what my brother Chavis got in store for us, man. Take your pen and your pad out. Hopefully you learn something. T'Challa might have stepped away. Sean? I don't know what them boys doing.
What up? What's good?
Supposed to be introducing yourself. You leaving the
Hey,
zang
man,
now.
ATM
Playing
Hotel,
with the
it's
chips.
Sean, man. Welcome in peace. My name is Sean. Appreciate everybody tuning into the show. Like, share, subscribe. Chavis is in the building. We're building with Brother Chavis today. You know what I'm saying? Make sure y'all get all our books. Description in the link. We on Kofi Pie Site TV. We on our like page live, and we on YouTube. Join in the discussion, everybody. Peace.
Sean over there into something. He said description in the link.
Hey, quit judge me. You know what I meant. Link in the description.
I don't know where Brother T'Challa at, but this Brother Chavis from H-Time. And we're finna get into the Mafa / the Mofu out of Cameroon and Nigeria, and just hopefully educate the people on a tribe that, to my experience, that I didn't even know about until I get into at the latter end of the presentation. But yeah, whenever you want me to start it, I can share the screen or whatever.
You muted, Coffee.
Yeah, I was saying you can go ahead and share your screen, man. T'Challa, you still having problems with your mic? Yeah, he must be still having problems. Yeah, peace to those in the chat. Peace, Sister Trismus. Peace, Infinite Mind. Peace, CK, and peace to those that's just watching and not in the chat right now. Please like and share the show, y'all. Please like and share the show. We got Brother Chavis, Tep Hesed, Aku McCray. I said your last name right then, Chavis.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Y'all can
All
see
right.
it?
Yeah, we can see it. You good to go? Peace, Keenan, right?
Take this off. What's it called? All right. It's taking a long time.
What you got, a video?
All right. Title is The Mafa / Mofu of Cameroon and Nigeria by Chavis Tephesu Awu McCray. All right. Kurdi culture. The Kurdi are the many cultures and ethnic groups who inhabit the northwestern Cameroon and northeastern Nigeria. The term was applied to various people who had not converted to Islam at the time of colonization and was a pejorative, although some writers have reappropriated it. The term comes from the Kanuri word for pagan. The Kanuri people are predominantly Muslim. Since the 11th century, Muslim Bantus such as the Fulani had begun migration to Cameroon, where they had attempted to convert pre-existing peoples. Therefore, the Kurdi have fewer similarities culturally and linguistically as they do in their general geographic dispersal, primarily situated in the arid steppe and savannas of north and far north regions of Cameroon. Estimates of how many groups may be described as Kurdi vary, and estimates ranging from 2007 to more than 40 in 1977. The Bata, Fali, Fata, Jemjek, Gidar, Giziga, Herza. I'm gonna tear up some of these names because we speak English, but Capsica, Kapsiki, Mata, Mafa, Masa, Matakam, Mofu, Mora, Mosugun, Muyang, Ul, Demi, I think it's Fodoko, Tapuri people, Vami and Zuga are all considered Kurdi due to their resistance to Islam. They speak Chadic and Ada Mual languages. The first mention of Kurdi is by Denham in 1826, who translates the word Kurdis as Negroes who have never embraced Mohammedanism. Generally, the Kurdi have been underrepresented in Cameroonian political systems based on the frequency quoted CIA World Factbook. The Kurdi represent 11% of the Cameroon population compared to the predominantly Muslim and more culturally homogeneous Fulani at 10% of the Cameroon population. Then Cameroon Highlanders 31%, Equatorial Bantu 19%, Northwestern Bantu 8%, and Eastern Nigritic 7%, and other African and non-African representing 14%. Given their historical underrepresentation, the Kurds have never constituted a political voting bloc. So the Mafa are included into this culture called the Kurdi. A lot of stuff I extracted comes from this publication on the Kurdi because it was kind of difficult on the Mafa because it's kind of difficult to find a lot of information because the majority of it that I look for or that I've seen is it's in French. So this was, I thought, somewhat informative, because the interpretation on some of the concepts I thought was kind of questionable. But the book is called The Way of the Beer, and ritual reenactment of history among the Mafa, terrace farmers of the Mandara Mountains, North Cameroon, by Gennard Miller Cossack. And he says, the Mafa and their tribal factions, the Mafa A, the Kwakwarke, and the Mafa Vera. According to Berito's, Breeden's, and Duo's geographical model, the Mafa speak Mafa, which comprises the dialects of Mafa West, Mafa Central, and Mafa East, and is the language of Mafa South. They live in the century of northern Mandaras and numbering about 115,000, form by far the largest ethnic group. They consist of two factions, the Mafa Hay, who speak mainly dialects of Mafa Central and Mafa East, and the Kwak War A, who speak predominantly Mafa West. The majority of the Mafa belong to the Mafa A faction, who occupy the lower slopes and foothills. To the east, the Kwakware inhabit the higher massive areas of the west. The term Kwakware is used by the Mafa to refer to Montagnards of the higher massive areas outside of the territory, particularly to those of western ranges, including the Goza Hills. The Bulai. The third group often mentioned in the context of Mafa are the Bulai, who do not really belong to the Mafa. According to this author, Laverne refers to the Mafa or Mafa proper and the Bulai as the two main factions of the Matakam. He points to the river Tsang as the most important geographical landmark, dividing two historical streams of migration moving west and northwest from the plain of the Diamara into the heart of the northern Mandara Mountains. Laverne sees the Boule groups, which I classify southern neighbors of the Mafa, as being inclusive to the Matakam. Yeah.
You all right? What is
Did I skip one? Well, these are there you go. These are just the many different dialects. I tried to screenshot it from my phone, so I couldn't get it on to my from the all of that book on it because I didn't figure. I tried to do it, but it saved to something else, so I just screenshot it from my phone and put it here. But what they are is basically just the different languages and dialects of the many people in Cameroon. As you can see, this sectioned off in a whole bunch of different ways, and so it's a really complicated situation as far as linguistically with those people in that area, mainly because there's so many different types of people in the area. All right. No etymology for Mafa or Matakam is confirmed. Stromel was informed in 1906 that the name Matakam was given by the Fobe and that the Mofu or Mofo and the Matakam refers to the same tribe. Stromel translates the name Matakam as the naked people. The Mosel's map refers to the mountain west of Mokolo as Matakam, but names the whole of Mafa land, Mofulu. Laverne translates Meta Yamo as an expression which refers negatively to the nakedness of these quote unquote primitive people. He says that the Fulbe not wearing clothes was a sign of poverty, lack of dignity, and inferiority. And the word Mediam later developed into Medicam and finally Medicam. This comes from an internet source I have at the end. But that part bothered me. You know, this kind of crazy to be looking at people a certain way because they don't have the same cultural norms as you. Okay, the Quarkwar equals village. Zab means Montague, and Mafavera are another word for Quarkwar is Quarkwar A. Quarkwar like village. Hey means people. Both Mafa expressions refer to the true Montagar as opposed to the Mafa and Mafavera. Vera equals plain. The latter already live on the foothills and in adjacent plains, and says Laverne often mixed with other ethnic groups. Laverne's Kokwars mainly occupy the Ziver Opay massif, but some of them are also found in the Guzda, where they mix with the Mafaye. The Mafa of Guzda equate the term Boulier and Kwakware with those who live in the higher mountain regions and point towards the Ziver Opay massif. We do not really know whether some Boulier actually merged with Kwakware. However, the Matakam were not a very exclusive ethnic group, and the Matakam is a derogatory term referring to those Montagars who occupied the centuries of the northern Mandaras. It seems to be a matter of fact because the Mafia developed such a strong influence within the so-called Matakam area that the name Mafa eventually evolved into an autonym. And the word Montagar, that is a term in reference to people who live on a mountain. Just in case, it's in question. Okay. Mafa versus Mofu. The Mafa people are located in the far northern Cameroon region and are known for many agriculture technological achievements. These ethno-engineering procedures include small-scale irrigation, canalization, and drainage systems. In addition, the Mafa practice an extensive variety of soil fertility management procedures, including crop rotation and mixed cropping. Agro forestry, biomass, nutrient management. They speak the Mafa language of the Chadic language family. And then as far as the Mofu primarily exist in the extreme north province of Cameroon. Their languages are separate languages of the Bu Mandara branch of the Chadic language family. So we can see why they are grouped together, but there is a distinction. I thought this was going to come from a scholarly book here. I'm going to just start where it says traditional Mafa farming. Traditional Mafa farming is based on a wide variety of soil management techniques. The hillsides are covered with constructed terraces that have reached a state of exceptional perfection. Other ethno-engineering techniques involve small-scale irrigation, canalization, and drainage. In addition, farmers in the mountains practice a wide range of soil fertility management techniques, including crop rotation and mixed cropping, agroforestry. This is pretty much repeating what I had said. The two stable crops, sorghum and millet, are rotated every year by all farmers in unison in order to prevent the buildup of crop parasites such as striga, and are grown in close association with other crops such as groundnut, sesame, and beans that all have their own small-scale niches on the terrace. Trees are also an important element of the Mafa land use system. They fulfill economic functions such as firewood provisions, as well as environmental functions such as stabilization of terraces and the fertilization of the soils as a result of their deep roots in production of organic litter. Moreover, the extensive livestock raising system is a central element in the soil fertility management. Livestock includes small stock and a element in soil fertility management. Livestock includes small stock and a limited amount of cattle. In the dry season between December and May, livestock is allowed to roam free in order to consume crop residues and leaves of wild bushes. During the agricultural season, livestock is penned and hand-fed in the family compound. The manure that accumulates in the stables is collected, stored, and eventually spread out in the fields. At the end of the dry season, the intensity and ingenuity of Mafa nutrient management is illustrated by the fact that the termites are used to digest crop residue and then fed to the chickens. Many aspects of traditional Mafa institution can be traced back to the material facts just described. Political power and authority in Mafa society is limited and dispersed. The individual household, the gay, forms the economic nucleus of the Mafa society, and hardly any authority exists above that level. The gay is a kinship group, a very local residence group, and the basic unit of the production and consumption all at the same time. The household almost exclusively supplies agricultural labor, although some forms of labor exchange between households and communal labor arrangements exist. Their economic significance is limited, and they generally concern non-agricultural activities. Task division along age and sex lines within the gay exists only to a limited extent, a feature that the Mafa share with other intensive mountain agriculture, such as the Kofyar. In the mountains, the compounds are scattered over the hillsides with a distance of about 50 meters or 100 meters between them. Household plots generally encircle the compound. The vicinity of the compound to the plots enable the constant care and attention needed in intensive agriculture. Land is subject to a system of informal but clear-cut private property rights and transmission mechanisms. This system is central condition for the intensity and permanency of traditional Mafa agriculture. As long as and how they not primitive people. Between Biomary and blast furnace Mafa iron smelting technology in northern Cameroon by Nicholas David, Robert Hyman, David Killick, Michael Wayman. It comes from the African Archaeological Review. The reenactment of a smelt in the Mafa downdraft furnace produced cast iron in addition to steel and low carbon iron. Further processing of these products in a forge to decarbonize the high carbon materials resulted in forgeable weldable steel, quite suitable for manufacture of traditional implements. This is the first documented case of an indirect iron smelting process from Africa. The ethnograph account is accompanied by a description of the technical aspects of the transformation of ore into steel based upon chemical and microscopic analysis of the ore and of the metallic slag and ceramic products and byproducts. Estimates of iron production and charcoal consumption under traditional conditions are offered, and the continuous Mafa process is contrasted with the batch process reported for the Sokar and Marguerite. That's just a depiction of Africans smelting iron. Okay. The Jaglavak, prince of the insects. The Mofu are particularly interested in two types of insects, those involved in the growth and conservation of grain sorghum. Their stable crop and those ants or termites that live in the social groups. The Mofu relate these social insects to their own political religious beliefs, as well as their systems of kinship and social relations. Among ant species, those of the Dorylus genus, a type of driver ant that is known to the Mofu as Jaglavat, hold a special place. The Mofu associate Jaglavat with termites, which is logical because Jaglavat soldiers resemble those of certain species of termite order Isoptera. The Dorylus ants live in the underground community, sometimes in a large number, without building visible nests. Their ferocity in attacking termites and the fact that no other insect appears able to resist them have conferred upon the Jaglavat a position of eminence. Yet the Jaglavat seemingly avoids other insects that are organized as it is, according to the Mofu, including two species of termites that they know as Manena and the Ndakor. Triniviridius, and especially the Gula ant. So a good documentary on that I put at the end in my sources. PBS has one with Nova. It's called The Prince of the Insects. I advise people to check it out. It's a very, very interesting documentary that goes even deeper and gives a visual as to this relationship. There are several interpretations of Jaglavat in the relation to other insects. The Jaglavat is defined by kinship and relations of alliance or power. Some say the termite Mananea is its cousin. Others say that Mananea is the prince of the plain insects and rival of Jaglavat. The Jaglavats in Ndoa Kuli, that what the Mofu call its intimate friend, who stands in for the head of the house, head of the family, and sacrifices coolly, is Singel Gagazana, a red ant, while other ants, in Ndora is the Manina's intimate friend. The Jagalabat is considered the chief of the entire massive, from the Wazang to the Mary. You see the map. I think that comes from the website. I left the link, the source at the end. While other ants continue local chiefs. The classification scheme is rough and its composition varies by region. One wonders, was it once more firmly fixed? By virtue of ancient alliance, the Jagalabat are believed to aid the Movo in times of trouble. And this here to the side is a typical Mofu home, viewed from the top and side in the center, stressing their value and stand silos of grain, sorghum in the Mofu stable is drawn by and used with the permission of Christian synobos.
Hey, Chavis.
Yes, sir.
Shoot,
Yes, sir.
I'm cooking, man, but I'm listening, and I don't know if I missed something. You talking about the ants and the termites, right?
Right.
Okay, and what are they doing? Like I said, I'm trying to listen and cook at the same time. I just walked back. You had kind of got my attention, but then I ran back to the computer real quick from the kitchen. So are they using these ants and these termites, and they learning how to build? Go ahead.
What they're doing is, like I say, if you, I got the documentary at the end. Like I said, it gives a great insight as to what exactly is going on. But to summarize, they basically are using the ants to get rid of termites that destroy those houses. Let me see. I can go back. These houses. You see how these houses are right here? You see the wood and all that. The termites will come in there and will like just basically decompose somebody. Termites full of wood.
Mm-hmm.
So the termites will have people's house coming down, and what they'll do is they'll find this jaguar ant and bring them by hand. From, if you watch that, and these ants bite, and it don't matter whether it's kids or whatever. The kids will pick them up and they'll take them to the house and like just basically let them loose, and some strange way the termites end up gone, and they're able to basically it gives a visual of the ants attacking the termites and basically getting rid of them, and they don't attack the people. Once they in there, they both end up gone. I think they like leave for like a week or something like that, and then everybody in the village comes and helps that person build back their house. So it's a real good documentary that shows step by step the actual people doing what is being described, and this relationship that they have with the ants. Like it's some real deep stuff, like when you really think about it. But that's what they're doing, though. They're using them to get rid of the termite, but they also look at them like they correlate their own history and their worldview based on those ants. Those ants are very important to their belief system.
Okay. Yeah, I like I said, I had kind of missed out, and I didn't know what you was referring to, because when I come back to the computer, I seen the structures of the house, so I didn't know if you was implementing that they was trying to, because they have in the past.
It looks like that.
Yeah.
No, it looks like that on the cool. Like that's what caught my eye.
Yeah, because if you look down in Kemet, that's what they did.
Look at that. Look at.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
This look like an ant pile. Right. No, I'm telling you, like, look, this looks like an ant pile. Like, you ever been outside, you see ant piles and stuff like this is how it looks. Now, I don't know if that's it sure looks like it to me.
Right, and that what caught my eye too when I was
I
asking.
thought that was extremely interesting myself.
Yeah, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Oh yeah, because because that would kind of caught my eye because because that was just like if you look down off in Kemet, and I ain't mean to stop your bill, you keep going, but that's what you look in Kemet.
No, you're good.
They looked at termites and ants, when you look at those mounds. So when you first, when you look at those mud structures, they learned how to build those mud structures when we talk about the mastabots. Those were the first forms of on what they was building in, and they looked at and studied ants and termites, and when you were saying that, and then when I got back and I started looking at the house and the way it was set up, so that's why I kind of stopped and asked. I was gonna say, man, that's dope, because people in the Kemet was doing the same thing.
That's really why I put it. That's the reason why what caught your attention is why I put it, because it caught my attention too when I just stared at it for a little while, like, man. And then it just explains that relationship and how important they are, and it makes sense, honestly, to me. But it's a good catch, though. I've seen the same thing. But then it's not just ants; it's animals and the land in general. They have they're very much in tune with their environment. But their God, I'm gonna kill this pronunciation because I don't. It's Zigle. Mafa refer to a supreme God seen as the master of all things as Zigle Mbias, meaning God. Now I don't. This is in English, so we're basically doing the same thing that Egyptologists were doing when they did the God thing with Netter. So that's how I look at this when I see this. But yeah, meaning God, the greatest of all, God resides in the celestial world above everything that exists. Mafa also referred to the universe as Zikube. So that's interesting. The universe is also, so everything pretty much is Zikube, which is kind of echoes a sentiment from some of our community that say God is existence, which makes pretty much extremely logical to me, which includes the idea of spatial and temporal existence. The concept of Zigle compromises not only all that is, but also Zigle is a person. As such, he is perceived as the first universal cause, and the Mafa like to refer to this by saying that God is behind everything and is like a father. It is in this context that we find the social reality of the Mafa metaphysically reflected. Here, in this depiction, is father with God and his son, and it's like a jar. They have a jar representation of this this concept as well, and then their houses represent this as well. So it's a abstract idea that I think needs to be further investigated, and I may do so myself because I don't know if anybody else is interested. Okay, and behind here, you can make out this is a family sharing what I'm about to describe. Ritual sharing of sorghum beer. Family head libates Baba pot. The sorghum beer for the Baba ceremony brewed for the first wife is poured into the Baba pot the night before her husband, the father of the house. During the night of the Zam unfolds the mysterious qualities of Inya's sorghum is born with so that it is ready on the day of the to be offered to God and the late father. To make Zam, it takes 4 to 5 days. First, the grain is put into the water to germinate. The water is changed a couple of times so that later on the beer does have a strong odor. The next day, germinated corn is spread out in the upper part of the girdade for drying. The following day, the cooking and fermenting process begins. And after Another 2 or 3 days, the beer is ready. Some has great religious significance. Handling sorghum as an agricultural plant is a very delicate process, and as we will see in the next selection, the process of its production is accompanied by many rituals as its storage and consumption. Storage and consumption. The consumption of sorghum is controlled by the father of the house, who stores it in his uh, who's a main granary. He needs to be pure whenever he wants to enter the sorghum granary, and is therefore not allowed to have sex the day before. Unearthed, the granary is the area where he keeps the, I can't pronounce that word. I'm even gonna attempt, pot of the spirit of sorghum. His holiday, twin pots, if he has any, as well as the some pots. Woodley, personal spirit pot of his children. During the month Malama, he keeps his male ancestor pots on top of the granary because this is the month of the greatest spiritual danger. See next section. On the seasonal calendar, his sorghum can easily disappear in a mysterious way if a Mead sorcerer finds access to the spirit of the sorghum. Sorghum is like a person and is considered to have a soul. Sorghum beer is at the very center of Mafa religious life, and without it, a man would have no social status at all. Even the bull sacrificed every 3 years because of the manure it produces can be included as part of the religious theme, incorporating the production and consumption of sorghum. Sorghum is the metaphysical epitome of fertility and zam. And zam. It is its religious substance can be seen as a Eucharist of Mafa religion. Now that comes from the Way of the Beer publication. And that's it. Here's my references. We got it's one on Curdy, one dealing with the Prince of the Insects. Then you got the book, The Way of the Beer. Then you got the African Archaeological Review and another website there. And these are the 2 documentaries I would, if there's more interest, I would look into on YouTube. You can, if you want to screenshot it, and then go just type it in. But I advise they're very, very interesting. The Nova Master of the Killer Ants, and the other one is the Dokawaza, Last of African Iron Masters, and that one shows you how the boys do that, create the iron from scratch, from the very, very beginning to what ain't nothing to when them boys is doing it all of the whole shebang, man. So that one is very, very interesting as well. Just me in even trying to even figure out who the Mafa are. This is my aunt's African ancestry results that she got, and you can clearly see it says the Mafa population of Cameroon. That's my auntie. This is my auntie to the left. That's hers. This is my other auntie that's younger than me, Liana, and that's my mama.
Are you considering getting one pretty soon? You and your mom?
For me?
Yeah.
We got one for my grandfather as well, but like I say, before I go there, that mitochondrial, I think that comes from my granny. My grandfather got his, and it's for the Yoruba. So that's a part I need to do it for my dad to get those pieces, together. but we got a pretty good picture as far as on my mom's side. But yeah, that's where that comes from. And that's the end. Unshare.
Yeah, you
StreamYard.
you good. I just removed it from there. You just got to remove it from your end now, man. Any of your brothers got anything dealing with the presentation or anything? Anybody in the chat got anything for Brother Chavis? This is Chavis' actually second presentation. He done one on the Masu Warrior clan on Sean's Science with Sean's that he does. So he did pretty good on that one. And he came on Kofi Paisai TV and presented and that's crazy. I hadn't even, really dug in on these people. I done heard of them before, but I never just really digged into their culture to see what they had going on, and just listening, it's pretty interesting. I'm gonna have to go back because I've been multitasking and go back and look at some pieces that I missed. But I know that, like I said, that one thing that caught my eye was what caught my ear was when I was away from the computer was when you was talking about the ants and the termites, and then when I returned the how the houses was built and made. So yeah, that definitely caught my eye, and some other few other things that you displayed about those people. But I'm definitely gonna go and check out those documentaries that you put up, man. But anybody else, man, got anything, or anybody in the chat got anything for Bro Chavis?
Yeah, man, the amp part was very interesting. That caught my attention a lot too. It reminded me of my presentation on reptiles in Africa, and how the certain groups of tribes interact with certain reptiles and adopt them into the culture of the people, even the everyday life. Like some even adopt them into the tribe, consider them as family members and shit like that. So yeah, that definitely caught my attention too. It was a dope presentation. I had never heard of these people before, so yeah, there's something that's caught my eye too. I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch because I was also multitasking, sharing in a lot of groups when we first went live. So I'm gonna go back and check this out because I had never heard of these people before. So it's good insight into a new group of people for me to look into. I will only say though, try to make the words, a little bigger because I had a hard time seeing it, and I think CK in the chat had a hard time seeing some of the slides. But other than that, man, this was dope. This was dope.
I'm gonna do that. But like, what's crazy is they actually have a relationship with reptiles too. They have a relationship with crocodiles, and they do just like what you said. Like, they are basically like part of like their family. And when they die, like to the point like they'll cry when they see the crocodile dead. I didn't put that in there because it was a whole lot of information. I didn't want to put too many slides. I was probably condensing a little bit, but there's some information on it. They do the same thing with panthers as well. So,
oh yeah, I'm gonna definitely check these people out, bro. I've never heard of these groups you introduced. So yeah, man, you introduced something new to me.
So that's what's up. That's what's up.
Hey, peace. Yeah, I was able to catch the majority of the presentation, even though I was multitasking myself. Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. You know what I'm saying? Other than the words being a different color and all that, of course, that's just pretty much same feedback. Like, keep pushing forward, keep doing what you're doing, bro.
All right. Yeah, I tried to make it because when I put black font on, like with that background, I had to try to figure out like what color to try and make it at least visible for me to even read. So I could do better on. I figure out some different ways to do that though. It's a bunch of stuff with PowerPoint you could do.
Yeah, you can definitely do what you do, because some of my slides have the background. It's just all about the colors in the back. You know what I'm saying? So it won't clash with the picture that you
Right.
that you got on there, man. Because I use them a lot. And I don't use them on every slide, but I like to use them a lot, because I that's just me. I just think that's dope when you got a picture in the back and
Right.
the picture is actually talking about exactly the information that you are conveying. It just, like I said, you just gotta find a color that won't clash with the picture that you got in the background.
I will do. It's a good critique. I need that. That make it better. Make for refine for better presentation. But yeah.
What about you, Sean? Sean, you still on here? You got anything?
The major critic. My biggest.
And if anybody else got something, for Brother Chavis, I don't see anybody got anything, far as the presentation, for the information, in here, man. But peace to everybody, man, that's in the chat. Peace to Brother Snell, CJ, aka, and peace, Sister Sophie, who was Miss Trismus. Everything is everything. Peace, Dr. Heathcliff Huxtable. Dr. Huxtables. I heard some tribes are good at butchering meat. Yeah. I don't know who this is. He's speaking in French. I don't know if, and there's some numbers, and I'm quite sure he wasn't talking about anything dealing with presentation, especially when I see those numbers on there. They advertising something. But peace, Brother Robert Rand, Gula Juice, if you still on here. I know Sister Ladosha was in here a while ago. Peace, Brother Keenan again, Infinite Mind. But yeah, man, Sean, if you still on here, man, you got anything?
Nah, man, I ain't got nothing for nobody, man. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate the build. Go back, rewatch it, take your notes. You know what I mean? If you got to line up some questions or whatnot, line it up and hit him up. You on all social medias, or when you see him in the chat, just get his email or whatever.
Oh, so Tep, we ain't heard from you. You still on, or you done walked away from the computer?
Yeah, man, that was a good build. Appreciate it, Brother Chavis. Definitely brought some insight to those termites and ants and stuff. When I was a kid, man, we used to fight. We used to make insects fight each other.
Oh, that's why.
Yeah.
When I seen the documentary, kid, I was like, man, this remind me about when I was a kid. We used to be in San Diego Bay. We'll be at the back on the hill. Me and my little brothers had like a little Tonka truck. We'll be getting ants and getting roly polies, picking them up and making them eat the ants, or making them attack a caterpillar.
Yeah.
Like all that shit, man. That was really,
Yeah,
it was real deep.
Right. So with that being said, this is something that, that we've been doing. They using one insect against the other, and Europeans do it as well. I mean, they got invasive species, because I'll give you an example, the snakehead fish. That's one fish they tried to bring over here to kill off something. And it ended up turning into an invasive species. So yeah, man, we've been doing this for a while. This is definitely a good insight, and I hope people understand what you was bringing when you brought this. So yeah, good job, bro.
Appreciate that. You caught what the real what the real intention was, to tap into some minds and some souls to remind you of what people was doing way before we even got over here.
Yeah. Well, shoot,
man. Let me do it.
Yeah, no problem, man. We appreciate you, man, for coming on here and presenting the information. Like I'm saying, and that's good. We all learned something, through your presentation, man. Because we don't all know everything. We don't confess to know everything over here on Kofi Pipeside TV, man. And it's about not only educating the masses, but educating ourselves. You know what I'm saying, in the process, man. So like I said, man, we appreciate you, man, for coming on, man, and presenting your presentation, man, over here, man. And on that note, I don't see anybody else that got anything in the chat. Peace, Brother Damo, and Peace. I'm guessing this is your wife, Shay McCray.
Yeah, that's my baby.
Yeah, his
That's
baby.
baby.
So peace to the baby. Peace to his baby. So yeah, man, we appreciate y'all for tuning in, man. And supporting the channel and definitely listen to what Brother Chavis had to present today. Again, man, if you don't have any of publications, please go get the several publications that we have out. If you want some clothing, please go get some of our Mboka Family Connect apparel clothing. Also, go get those 54 deck of quiz cards that we got out. We have something else coming that will be available this week for the family. We'll let y'all know when we go live or do a small video on what the next product that we have coming out. We're about producing. And that's what we're going to continue on doing. Again, appreciate everybody for tuning in. I want to say Black African Power. I said ETM Hotep in the beginning, which means to bring forth peace or come in peace. Now I want to say Shemim Hotep. I said, Shemim Hotep. Shemim Hotep just means to depart in peace. We'll see y'all next time. And we out of here.
Peace.
Peace.